Hey, it's that Skydive Sim guy here today with my guest James Jensen, who is the founder of Jump by Limitless Flight. How are you doing today, James?
Doing so good. Thank you for having me on. I'm excited to chat with you about everything we got going on.
I am super excited to talk to you. Tell us a little bit about Jump before we get into anything else.
Of course, yeah, this is kind of like my second time going at this, but I really wanted to create an authentic wingsuit-based jumping experience. If you do any research on what it takes to be a wingsuit-based jumper, you're talking about hundreds of skydives before you even qualify to get a wingsuit. You got to buy your A license. It's a lifelong kind of adventure to go on. And hats off to the guys that do it. Like, I just turned 50 years old. It's not in the cards for me. And so I set out after to make this exclusive experience available to everyone with zero training. And that's what Jump is. We definitely created a completely authentic experience where you stand on the edge. You get to physically jump out. The simulator kind of puts you in a flying position with wind and effects and all of that. And then you also parachute in and land back upon your feet. In the jump session, you get 3 jumps in your session. So you're either skydive, wingsuiting, or you're base jumping off of the cliff. And there's different flight plans that you can pick from. And you also get to fly with other people. So however many simulators we have, it's how many people can jump and fly and see each other at the same time. Here in Utah, we have 2 simulators. So 2 people jump at the same time. And they get to see each other and talk to each other the whole time. It's actually really cool to see those experiences kind of unfold. But Jump was kind of my second version of virtual reality experiences. I initially created, The Void, which was a walking virtual reality simulation company. And we had 20 plus locations worldwide. We had a relationship with Disney and Sony. And those were kind of the baby steps. And then I wanted to make something that was almost 100% realistic. So you could quite almost really create the same memory of doing it in reality, but doing it in a safe environment. And we're here, like, we've done it. It's awesome. Yeah, come out, check it out.
I see. Yeah, I mean, I've seen your videos, and I'll go back to what you said in the beginning. Jumping into a wingsuit is not easy. I've skydived. I've done 3 wingsuit jumps in my skydiving career. I haven't done much lately. It's just, the stability is really hard. I had already over 400 jumps, I think, when I put the first wingsuit on. And I was like, out the door, I was like a piece of paper, just out of control.
Yeah.
So I can imagine, it's, and for the guys that do proximity, and that's what your VR simulation is, it's proximity flying. So putting someone right there who's never skydived and they're able to actually experience going down these valleys and stuff, it's just pretty amazing. So
yeah, what would on your path, you've done some skydive wingsuits. Usually it takes a few hundred of those before then
definitely.
And we have skydive wingsuit guys that come here that have never base jumped before. So going down that path, like, where do you think you are? Do you think you'll ever get to base jumping, or is it
honestly, I think if I was to do it, I would probably come out to Jump first and practice there. I mean, proximity is a whole different beast. When you're jumping out of a plane, you're not likely to get hurt for the free fall portion if you're in a wingsuit, and like I was kind of going in circles until I got it under control. It's fine normally. It's, if you're doing that and you're jumping off a cliff and you got 2 or 3 seconds to just get balanced and just keep going, that's a big deal. So, yeah, I mean, I think what you've created, I don't think I will base jump. I'm a bit older now as well. And I don't know if I want to really risk that. But if I was to do it, I would probably come to Jump first and get some training first, because you guys have, from what I understand, you have like a beginner stage where it kind of helps you out, and then you have one where it's just like the real world. It's just you control it or you crash, correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we started. I basically went to my wingsuit pro buddies and I said, hey, I want to do this, but I want to do it in a safe environment, and I want it to be as realistic as possible. And they helped us get it to that realistic as possible stage. And then we threw on training wheels. And so our plan is to actually, as you jump, to increase in performance levels on the wingsuits. And we have 5 different performance levels. The beginner one is what we fly right now for every beginner, which basically has some flight controls. And we can also put you on a flight assist if you're doing really bad. But then through that process, as coming back to jump several times, you'll unlock all 5 of those performance levels where you get to where you're doing barrel rolls, and it's very realistic. And the performance of the wingsuit is almost as realistic as it can get.
That is cool. When you say barrel rolls, does your simulator actually turn them in real world for a barrel roll, or is that just a mind trick there?
Yeah, so it is an illusion for sure. We're in virtual reality, and having the benefit of creating another company that does this, I know what the techniques are to create that illusion. And so the majority of it is visuals, but the simulator does move to a point to simulate some of that. For instance, when you dive at jump and you go really fast down, and then you peel out at the end, and you because when you wingsuit, you want to peel out at the end so you can deflate your wingsuit to reach back and grab your parachute to deploy it. They call that like, kind of peeling out or flaring out at the end. When you do that motion of diving and flaring out, there's no G-forces that are happening in jump, but you absolutely create G-forces in your head from the whole thing happening.
I bet.
And I believe it's because you're moving the body from a certain position to a different position, and just a subtle movement of the blood flow in your body, and then the visuals being so amplified, your body thinks it's happening and creates it all. It's pretty wild.
Definitely.
I'd like to say that you probably only need to create about 20% of reality, and your brain fills in the rest of the gaps.
I totally agree with you on that, because, we've had our harness system that I'm working on, and, ours is obviously just skydiving. And when you just give it a little input, we had it pitching about 20 degrees or so. And in my head, while I'm in it, I'm just like, whoa, I'm actually turning. I feel like I'm turning all the way. So it does definitely do something. But yeah, what you've created, I think you also probably have some motion that just kind of peels back on you. Well, how many, I guess, DOF do you have? Like, is it like, because that's how they call it in, I think, what is it? If it's a motion chair, they say it's like 3 DOF, 6 DOF. Yours is probably so many different levels
It's all of that. I mean, literally the simulator is looking at what your body is doing and responding to it. So that's cool. You're going from standing to flying to swinging to landing back down, and all of the sensor data is all happening, and it's all happening automatically. So I don't know, at least 6 DOF. If you want to use those terms.
Okay. I know what you mean. And you said there's 2 bays. So you actually have 2 separate bays, or is it 2 people in the same bay next to each other?
Nope, they're 2 separate, and then we merge their virtual experience. So you're in separate jump bays or separate simulators, and then when you appear in the airplane in the back of the C-140, for instance, you're there together. You can look over, see each other, and then, hey, I'm going to go on 3. Let's go.
Oh, awesome. That's super cool. So you said you talked to your wingsuit buddies about creating this. How did the idea come to you in the first place?
It's kind of a funny story, but it was really sitting around the campfire on a family trip, and Marshall Miller was with me. He's a pro wingsuit base jumper, and we were looking at videos. We were setting up the screen for our kids to watch a film, on our little trip. And I was setting up the screen and playing a Void video, and everybody's like, "Oh man, the Void's so cool!" And that was great. You did the virtual reality thing. And then Marshall comes walking out of his trailer, and he's like, "Hey, put this on there." And it was him wingsuiting in like the Swiss Alps or something. I was like, "Man, that is so cool." And I was like, "I wish I could do that." And my wife was sitting next to me, and she's like, "You're never doing that." So I was like, "There's a lot of people that are in my bucket. There's millions and millions of people that watch these guys do these crazy cool things, and it's just not going to be possible for them." And that's where it hit me. I was like, wow, I know how to make things feel very realistic. I think I know how to make this feel very realistic as a wingsuit. Marshall, will you help me do this? Marshall came on as an advisor, really good friend, to ensure that the simulator was the same mechanics as a real wingsuit. And then he also brought in another individual, Hartman Richter, which is he's a professional wingsuit flyer. And he also is a physics programmer. He was doing a physics program to plot on if he could, physically fly real locations. And he came on and he programmed the physics of the wingsuit to be the same. So that guy's probably only one guy that exists on the planet, but he was able. So that was really nice, because we didn't have a wingsuit guy talking to a developer that actually did the thing. It was we had a wingsuit guy that went in there and felt if it was real, and then he modified it until it was. And
Makes a big difference. I bet it does, because it's hard to explain those things. When I started with Skydive Sim, I was already skydiving and there was no product out there. And I hurt my ankle around my 50th jump. So I was like, man, if I could just get that in my head to like flare correctly and get over the fear, but there was nothing there. So I just went in and found developers and trying to explain to them, this is how it should feel to do it. So that was a challenge. So I got very hands-on, and to a point where, okay, you create it, I put the headset on, okay, this just doesn't feel right. And I did have other more experienced coaches at the time that would also try it out and give me their feedback. So it's so important to have somebody that does that in the real world. And it sounds like you had two of the best helping you build this experience.
Yeah. We have other wingsuit pilots like Luke Akins from Red Bull. He's on my advisory board. Like, we definitely taken the steps to make sure this is authentic. And the word is out on whether or not we can train you at jump, but I've done over probably 2,000 simulated jumps. I've never wingsuit or parachute, skydived in my life. But I plan to go out, maybe out to Stockholm and get in their wingsuit tunnel and see if I could stabilize a wingsuit. If I could stabilize a wingsuit day one, like that would be pretty big. Because even in their wingsuit tunnel there, it takes hundreds of hours to get proficient enough to be able to stabilize a wingsuit. Also, that being said, to gain a lot of respect for these wingsuiters, it took me about 200 simulated wingsuit flights to be able to stay next to another wingsuit pilot and anticipate their movements. So it's very realistic that way. I wasn't perfect the first time I did it. In fact, when we were developing the prototype, I crashed probably 50 times. I died 50 times trying to jump off the cliff until I got it right.
Yeah, I bet. And I mean, I'm a true believer that virtual reality does help set you up. I think what you're saying, I'm willing to bet it won't take you much going into a tunnel and being stable, because you've already done it. You have the muscle memory already. And it's just a matter of getting over the mental part of it the first few times that, okay, this isn't virtual. I could hit the glass in your case if you're in a tunnel, which isn't as bad as hitting a cliff. So I'm pretty sure you'll be able to pick that up very quickly.
Yeah, I'm excited to try it. We're going to head out there with some of my wingsuit buddies at one point and record the whole thing, and we'll see how it goes.
That's awesome. I can't wait to see that video. So you've been an entrepreneur pretty much since you were younger. Tell me about your first entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I think that definitely started early on. My parents were farmers, so their grandparents or their parents farmed mint, and then my parents had about an 860-acre farm out in Oregon that I grew up on, and I think I got my entrepreneurship definitely from them. On creating my own business and running my own things. I got an airbrush when I was young. My brother bought it for me, and I ended up airbrushing T-shirts for a movie theater, and then that kind of turned into, oh man, I can make this much per T-shirt, and the whole thing spun out that way. And it was a lot of really good lessons early on, and then I did take a certain period of my life where I worked for other companies and designed stuff and did visual effects and all of that. And then I created my own visual effects company. And then that kind of morphed into now creating virtual reality experiences and other product designs and things, and becoming like a true entrepreneur in that space. But yeah, that was a quick version.
Yeah. I think you were also in the movie business, right? Doing effects. Tell me about that.
Before The Void, I created a company called Sandman Studios. It was located here in Utah, and we were trying to break through in the Hollywood scene and do visual effects for film. And we did do some movies. We did kind of a B film with Joey Fatone. Is that his name? It was Red Riding Hood. We did about 1,100 VFX shots for that. And then we also worked on Scooby-Doo 2 and a few other films doing VFX shots. And honestly, that's kind of where The Void came from at that time, because I was on green screen sets with actors, and we were setting up, obstacles and objects for them to touch that were representative of the virtual world. And that's why I was like, well, I want to be in virtual reality. I want to be inside the computer, and we could map a virtual scene over a physical set, and people could walk around and go on these amazing adventures. And that's kind of where the Void came from.
I see. Were you ever a gamer, or was virtual reality your first thing into gaming?
Oh no, always a gamer, still am. Like I'm playing the latest ones right now. I love it. I think it's kind of cool that you can now get a wingsuit in Fortnite. I don't play Fortnite personally, but I'm like, wingsuit in Fortnite, that might be fun.
I've seen where they're kind of like tracking. I didn't know if it's wingsuit. I've seen some skydiving ones where they're tracking in their trailer, and I'm like, oh man, I need to get in there and see how it feels. But are you more into the VR side of gaming now, or 2D, or both?
Not necessarily on the VR side of things. I guess I probably have a different perspective of virtual reality than most people do.
You do?
Yeah, where Jump is going and where all of my projects are going are more about creating kind of life-changing moments and things that are very, very realistic using virtual reality technology. But the gamification side of things, I'm not that interested in. I think just because it's in a game engine does not mean that it's a game. These experiences that people are having are very real. We have people back out all the time in Jump. We have very transformational things that are happening when people are standing on the edge and going for it. I mean, there's no tandem guy attached to you, like pushing you out of the airplane. You got to make the decision, and the fear level and the experience is at such a high point that I'm interested in the training and education aspects of hyper reality simulations, and not necessarily like VR gaming. So personally, I like a mouse and keyboard, and playing operators right now is really fun. I want to go back to what you said though about standing on the edge of it and backing out. So you've had people actually that say, "No, I'm not going to do this." Oh yeah, 1 out of 10 people. I think what happens is you have a lot of people on the outside that are like, oh, it's just virtual reality and it's safe. And then they get up there, and the airplane door opens up and the wind hits them and they smell the interior of the airplane. You're getting all that evidence that it's real. Your mind does not know the difference between a real experience and an imagined one. And when it's that powerful, you got real adrenaline, real dopamine rushes. You got the whole thing happening in that moment, and you get to make that decision to jump. That's why the company's called Jump. It's not called Fly or Sky, whatever. It's about that decision of taking 2 steps in the darkness and see if you have success. And I think that crosses over on so many factors in people's lives. It also is a separator between average person and a high performer is their ability to deal with that fear barrier and jump past it and see success. And that's in entrepreneurship, professional, sports, all kinds of stuff.
Right. And I think the headset alone actually messes with your mind so much. I had an ex-Navy SEAL who is the director of Michael Murphy's Navy SEAL Museum on my podcast. They actually use skydive sim in their museum as a skydiving exhibit for the kids that visit. And he was telling me the first time he actually put the headset on, and this is nothing like yours where you have the wind, you have all these extra things coming in. It's just the headset, and he's standing there jumping out of the plane and then under canopy. And he said he was just falling all over the place. So I can imagine with all the sensations you guys have added, all the little things, like you got wind that goes into the suit itself, so it inflates. There's just so much that, I think for the average person, especially if they've never tried VR, it's real, correct?
Yeah, it is. It's 100% real for them. And it's always a funny thing that we battle maybe or contest on social media. People are like, just do it in reality. It's like, you don't know what it takes in reality, guys. We usually have like wingsuit guys or real skydive guys come in and be like, hey, it's actually like 200 skydives to do this thing, at least to get a wingsuit. So it's kind of fun to see that. But yeah, it's very real.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the ones that say do it in real life won't even make it on yours because they'd be like, oh, okay, this is a lot more real than I thought it is, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
So also the other thing on the sensations, I think that's underplayed too much. there's a lot that's going on psychologically with people when they're in virtual reality. And the biggest factor for motion sickness actually is correlated to your body not having enough information that the reality that you're seeing and hearing is real. So it thinks it's hallucinating. So when you only have audio and you only have visuals and you're not feeling the wind or smelling the environment or, touching something, then your body's like, oh, you're hallucinating. You ate weird mushrooms or something from the jungle and you need to get them out. It's actually not about frame rate. It's not about any of that stuff. It's not even about the quality of the visuals. It's about proving to the consciousness of the human that they're actually there and it's happening. And when you do that, then you kind of cross over to something that I think is maybe I could call true virtual reality. I just call it hyper reality because most virtual reality is audio and visual only. And
exactly.
That's where you get into a really magical place where I think you're building memories inside of people, just like if they went to Hawaii or anything else, you're allowing them to create a memory in the same way.
I totally agree. Yeah, the other senses are so important. We don't necessarily think about them every day, but that's what's missing when you just have goggles on and just video and audio going through. And so I'm guessing with your system, have you ever actually had anyone with motion sickness? Probably not, right?
No, we do. I mean, but it's a factor of we're skydiving and you pull a parachute.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
So people that, we have a lot of guys, we have guys here that work at drop zones and stuff. And, people are having a great time as they're falling down. But, as soon as they go into that parachute and they start doing a couple circles, like they'll feel it. And it really depends on the person. So I think any of the motion sickness that we're seeing now is just because it's skydiving and parachuting, but it's pretty minimal. People are in control and they're getting enough evidence that the reality is there and real. And, for the most part, it's doing what it needs to do.
And I've seen people in real life, actually. I remember being at my local drop zone a few years ago and a tandem landed and the guy just started puking. Yep. It's just like...
Those are the lucky instructors that get it when they land on the ground, not the ones
exactly. I've seen videos like that too, where it's just like, what do you do? Yeah. Man, I would not want to be a tandem instructor. Like,
the worst is, people come in like, oh, it's VR, so I'm going to get sick. It's like, well, you're not doing the right VR. If you're going to get sick, it's because it's skydiving. And, if you're worried about that, you should take some Dramamine, just like you would if you went skydiving. The other biggest misconception I would say is people have this idea that if they don't eat anything before they do like a virtual reality experience or something like that, that's better. That is absolutely incorrect. If you go to any drop zone, they'll tell you to drink something and eat a little bit of something before you do it. Because it actually, helps a lot. And so we tell people to do the same thing. If we get investors or people that fly in from out of town, we're like, all right, have you had a cup of coffee this morning and nothing to eat? Because that's literally the worst case scenario.
Right.
Eat something before you do this kind of thing.
That makes sense. So tell me, do you have plans to put Jump at different cities or as a franchise or whether it's part of corporation? Tell me about that.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yes, we are expanding right now. We just secured our first lead investor for Las Vegas, and we're expanding our location. Utah here is really a research facility. It's not necessarily like a fully public offering, and so we're excited about opening our first location. Las Vegas might be the very first one. We have a good lead investor there, and we're actually seeking for follow investors for all of our locations. This lead investor wants to open 5 new locations in the next little bit. So,
well, I'm in Houston. If you guys open one here, that would be awesome for me.
Yeah, be great.
Yeah. So, what else? Do you have anything in mind as far as, let's say, what's next for Jump? Like, are you going to take it to a different level, or are you going to just do a whole different experience that you're going to offer?
Definitely both. There's things that the simulator can do right now that would be different experiences you could offer. For instance, we could do zip lining off of Mount Eiger instead of wingsuiting.
Oh, nice.
Maybe it's not the cards for a 90-year-old lady to come in here and wingsuit off of Eiger, and they would rather zip line. Or we can also do speed flying. If you know, I'm sure you know what that is.
Yeah.
But we can do speed flying. We have an apparatus that we've designed for wheelchair, so you can actually, move into our wheelchair, and then that connects to the whole system. So you could wheelchair off and speed fly a canyon if you want to. So we have stuff planned for the simulator as the way that it is, but in true James fashion, I'm never going to be satisfied with this, and it will absolutely evolve. I can tell you our roadmap does get into running, walking, climbing. So you could run, walk, climb any distance, and then jump off of whatever you've climbed up to, and then keep flying, and then land, and then keep running and walking. So we're on the trajectory for that kind of hardware roadmap.
You're building Ready Player One, huh?
Yeah, I think inevitably getting to like a full system that allows you to traverse any space and jump and fly that maybe is in your home in the next 10 to 20 years. We'll see.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think technology is just going faster and faster, and we're just getting to a point where we can have these experiences, which is so cool. And you're one of the pioneers of that. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Definitely.
I appreciate that. It's one of the things that I like to talk about. I feel like maybe VR got ahead of itself sometimes, and at least at home virtual reality, we need to collect more data. We need to understand how people are experiencing these things, and we can create the right product at home that fulfills like the true virtual reality experience that everybody wants. And I think when we reach that point in the future, it's not going to be about gaming. It's actually be more about education and training. And actually developing our skills as creators because of everything that's going on with AI and robots and, kind of all these blue collar jobs and, construction things are going to go away. And we need to create a new system to help people evolve into, their creative capacity and reach their full potential. And I really feel like that's where things are going. So I'm super pumped to be a part of all that, and always open to new ideas and ways to achieve that. And, thanks for having me on the show to chat about it. For sure.
I appreciate you coming on and talking to me about it. I'm hoping I get to experience Jump someday if I travel there, or maybe, remember, I'm in Houston. Open one up.
Yeah.
I can go. All right. Thanks a lot, James.
Yeah, thank you. Looking forward to making the jump with you.
Sounds good. Take care.